Hi, I'm Carla, Server Kid. Today we are looking at the wedding blogs.
That's correct, Corey. Today we're going to be looking at the top wedding blogs and doing some technical analysis on them. If you've got any questions, fire away, ask them. We'll answer them if we can go through. If not, we'll answer them at the end. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. So, the top wedding blogs from a technical SEO analysis. So, just quickly, so we can explain why we're doing this. We're a technical and server log auditing agency. We don't do anything apart from that. We don't do link building, we don't do content, and we work with a wide range of clients, from in-house clients to other agencies doing white label reporting. So this analysis is only looking at technical, because that's all we do. We're just a technical specialist. So the data. So we've took Hitwise top 100 traffic to the wedding blogs category. The blogs can be based anywhere, but the traffic is the UK traffic, so it's the top 100 sites that get the most UK traffic. So then what have we analysed? So like I said, we are a technical SEO agency, so all we've done is look at the on-page and technical elements of it. We haven't looked at links because that's not our speciality, and we haven't looked at content. Again, it's not our strongest area. But crucially, we've only looked at what's publicly available information. None of these are our clients, so we don't have access to Google Search Console, we don't have access to anything like analytics or their server logs. So this is purely just what we can publicly see. So let's get into the analysis. So first of all, we looked at how many of them are set up correctly. So there's 4 ways you can fundamentally set up a website. You can set up as https:/domain, https subdomain like www.domain, http domain, and http www.domain. You should really pick one of these and stick to it. Our preference is going to https:/domain. You can use a subdomain, there's no difference. Most sites should be, or all sites now should be, 2018 should be using HTTPS. There's no real reason not to. Google claims you get an SEO benefit, a minor one, from being secure. We've not really seen it, but we have seen that with the release of recent Chrome, you do get a not secure if you're warning if your site isn't using HTTPS. So really, Google treats all these 4 as separate sites. So the idea is you pick one and 301 the other versions to the main property. The problem is if you go for HTTP and 301 and HTTPS to it, which, looking at the data, some people have done, is that the browser also remembers the redirect. So let's say you are on HTTP and you currently redirect HTTPS to it. After a while, you decide actually you want to go secure because of all the benefits and some of the other benefits we're about to discuss. So you undo the redirect and put the redirect from HTTP to HTTPS. That's great. Google will pick up on that pretty soon, maybe the next time they crawl, the same day, a couple of days later. Any new users to your site won't notice any differences. Only returning visitors. So what will happen is they will come in on HTTPS, Chrome, Firefox, whichever browser they're using, will remember that there is a redirect in place and browse and redirect them to HTTP. Your server will then kick in because you've obviously set up the redirects correctly and redirect them back to HTTPS, which then browser will kick in, so they'll just be in a redirect chain. If you are currently in this state where you're redirecting HTTPS to HTTP, get in touch. I don't really want to cover it here, but there are ways to get around it, but it will take time. And before you say no one's that daft enough, ASOS, one of the UK's biggest shopping sites, currently does that to its main domain. So http://asos.com is the main site, HTTPS 301s to it. It was the last time I checked anyway. So let's look at the stats. So out of the top 100 sites we analysed, 63% or 63 of the sites was set up correctly, but 37% of the sites wasn't set up correctly. And there's multiple reasons for this. Some of them were only doing 302 redirects rather than 301. Some of them were having the HTTP and HTTPS return 200 response codes, so Google seeing duplicate content. Some were returning 404. I think there was only 1 or 2 who were actually returning 404. Some would be having one version and 301 in others to it, but then there'll be a 302. But yeah, many reasons, but 63% of the sites are set up correctly. Just 37% aren't. So if you're in that 37%, it's pretty easy to check as well. Just type in all 4 variations into your browser and you'll see what happens. So we moved on to speed, and we all know speed is super important. Page speed is super important. Google's been on about this for months. They said the July update was coming, which was speed related. Whether it was speed related or not is to be determined, but it helps with SEO, PPC, UX conversions. So any quick wins you can do with speed is super important. So if you are on HTTPS, you can get the benefit of going to HTTP2, and I'm not going to bore you here and explaining how to do it or why you should do it. Just watch the server log kid over here. He's done a few videos now on HTTP2 and the benefit. But yeah, there's a site down here. You chuck in your URL and it tells you whether you are HTTP2. When we're speaking with clients, etc., we say the benefit you'll get is your page speed will half, so you have 50% reduction in page load time. If I'm being completely honest, it's usually between 60 and 70% reduction, but we like to keep client expectations there. So yeah, safe bet is your page speed will drop by half. So if it's going to take 6 seconds to load, it'll load in 3, which is a huge difference, and users will notice the difference. So out of them sites, 56% was set up correctly for HTTP2, but 44% wasn't. Now, small part of that 44% was because they're on HTTP, and you need to be on HTTPS for it to work. So then, obviously, automatically excluded. But others have done all the hard work, done all the ranking fluctuations while you're moving to HTTPS, but then haven't done the final bit. Unlike moving to HTTPS, upgrading to HTTP2 doesn't cause any ranking fluctuations. It's just server side. It's about a 5 to 10 minute job, and you'll start seeing the benefits straight away. You might not see the rankings boost overnight, but your users will see the boost straight away, and there'll be no detrimental impact to your rankings. So yeah, then 44% will exclude. I think it was about 5 to 6%, which was because they're still on HTTP. So obviously exclude that. There was a good 35%, which is just because they're on HTTPS and not set up. So that's one quick win. Like I said, go back onto this URL here. Type in your domain, and it'll tell you whether your server's set up or not. And then all it is a case of speaking to your dev, your hosting provider, and saying, look, we're on HTTPS, we want to move to HTTP2, can you do it for us? One of the most important files on a website is the robots file. It obviously tells you robots what they cannot do on your website. So we analysed whether the page was there, not if it was set up or how detailed it was set up, just whether the page was there. Everyone should have a robots file, and we thought this would come back 100%. We'd have a nice little graph of 100%. Nope. 6% or 6 sites in essence didn't have a robots file. And this is pretty easy to test. Just type in your domain /robots.txt. It all needs to be lowercase, it is case sensitive, and it needs to be spelled correctly for it to work. Otherwise Google won't count it, or another search engine bots will not be able to find it. But yeah, so 6 sites don't have a robots file. So yeah, it's pretty easy to do. There's videos out there on the web. I think we've done a video before on how to create a robots.txt file on WordPress sites. Yeah, it's pretty easy. And then it's just a case of editing it to meet your certain needs. But yeah, every site should have a robots.txt file. Then we looked at Sitemap. So there's 3 ways Google is going to find new pages on your site. 1, crawl your entire website. 2, follow external links to your website. 3, read your sitemap and find new pages. Because in your sitemap it tells them the new URLs added. It tells you then the date URLs were updated, the priority they should be crawling, the frequency. So sitemaps are pretty important, because I can tell you from looking in enough server logs over the years that Google does not crawl every single page on every single site straight away. It can take them a while before they find new pages. And let's be honest, if you just put a new blog article out there, the chances of you getting links to it straight away, unless you're super brilliant at link building, is pretty slim. So a sitemap is crucial for helping Google to find new pages on your site. 18% of sites didn't have one. The number could be slightly out, because unlike the robots file, you can call your sitemap URL anything you wanted. So we guessed, first of all, to see which the standard sitemap, so sitemap.xml, etc. We then looked in robots.txt file, because that's another great place to locate your sitemap for these. But these 18 sites, we couldn't find them. They could have them potentially. They could have them as something weird and unique, and then just telling Google in the search console what it is. But it could be the case. But yeah, more than likely they probably don't have it. So it's safe to say 15 to 18 sites don't have a sitemap, which is a crucial file. It helps Google find new pages on your site. So then we got into crawling the website. So we used a tool called Screaming Frog. There are many other tools out there. Screaming Frog's a desktop-based one. We don't really want to spend much time on talking about what Screaming Frog is. We've covered it numerous times, me and the Server Lock idea. Support. Crucially, we have used Screaming Frog. There's a free version, and the paid for version is $149, and I know that because ours renewed last week, and it lasts for a year. But yeah, we crawled the key 500 pages of the top 25 sites, and the reason why we've got an asterisk there is because some of the sites actually didn't allow Screaming Frog to crawl their websites. And yes, I could have got around this, but I thought I'd honour it. So if, say, site 6 won't allow us, we just move down and keep it going. So these are top 25 sites that would allow us to crawl openly with Screaming Frog. And crucially, we only crawled the top 500 pages. And some of these sites are 3, 4, 5, even 10,000 pages deep. So some of these are big sites. So we did miss a lot of them out. So first thing we looked at was 301 and 302 errors. So we all know that these are super important, and really you shouldn't be having any issues on your website because it's a web property you control. You can easily update. 3% of the site, 3% of pages crawled had at least had a 301 error. 21 sites had at least one error, and 11 sites had at least one 302 error. So 2% of the total pages crawled. And 3 and 2% doesn't sound a lot, but then you got to think we only crawled the top 500 pages of these sites, the most pages. These the more likely to be errors on older blog articles, on older blog posts, etc. So the further down, if we'd crawled the entire sites, we probably would have seen more data and more numbers, but we only crawled the top 500 pages. And really, them numbers should have been at 0. You control these web properties. They're pretty easy to update. So yeah, you should yourself go in, crawl your own website, download it, find the errors, fix them. Next, we looked at 404s, and again, the only two sites had at least one 404 error. But crucially, we only crawled the top 500 pages. These tend to sit on old blog articles where they're linking off to something that you created 3, 4, 5 years ago. So I wasn't surprised to see a low number. I would expect there to be more. They'll just be further down the funnel, further down the site in more lower quality pages or older blog articles. Not necessarily lower quality, but yeah, older pages that we didn't crawl. So yeah, there will be more, but yeah, 2 sites still had at least one 404, which surprised me. One of the downsides of Screaming Frog is that it's not very visual. It's just a Excel dump basically once it's crawled the site. We created this free report March, April time, which you can use if you wanted to make it look a little bit more pretty. The URL's at the bottom here, and basically what you do is crawl the site, chuck it into Google Sheets, link into Data Studio, and then it populates this report for you. What else? So we have only covered the top things here. And like I said, if you've got any questions, ask away. We can see that there are some people watching this. The video will be available afterwards. So if there are any questions that we haven't covered or that you think about when you're watching the replay, just fire them across on email to us. But yeah, what else should you be looking for? Large images. If you're using Screaming Frog, you can filter by image size and find the largest images on your site. Pretty easy to fix. Just chuck them into something like compressed JPEG or compressed PNG.com. Compress them, re-upload them, sorted. Google has 2 page speed tools. You should be using and analysing to try and find out what other bottlenecks there are on your website. Obviously, HTTP2 will reduce it by roughly 50%. Compressing your images is another big thing, but there are a couple of other things. So yeah, using them. Remove unused plugins. 2 reasons you should do this. 1, they slow down your site, and second of all, it's a security risk. So the more plugins you have, the more chance you have of a hacker getting into your site, etc. So just remove them. Same with unused themes on your site. Only keep the one you're using. All the rest, just remove. So the key takeaways from today's quick webinar is pick a preferred setup, HTTPS preferably, either with a subdomain or without subdomain, and 301 all the others to it, but you do need to set them all up in Google Webmaster Tools, or Google Search Console, sorry, that's now called. Check your site whether it's HTTP2, yes or no. If yes, great, you've done the work. If no, speak to your developer or hoster. Make sure your robots file is live firstly, and then once you've got it live and you're happy with it, then start tweaking it and making it more customized to your needs. Then go on and check your sitemap is working. Is it there? Yes or no. If no, speak again. If you're using something like WordPress, there's a few plugins you can install to create a sitemap on the fly for you. So yeah, I think Yoast does it as well, but I could be wrong. Then crawl your website using a tool like ScreamFrog. There are others. We use a thing called Deep Crawl, but that's cloud-based, so you pay per URL crawled, unlike ScreamFrog. So yeah, then crawl your site and fix errors. Anybody got any questions? If not, you can. There doesn't seem to be any coming in, but I'll check in a minute in the Facebook. Let's do that now. If not, you can email me afterwards to andy@onpage.rocks, and I'll more than happily answer any questions. Let me just go across to Facebook and just check, because it's a new tool I'm using